Welcome to the Weekends Over podcast, and we are back. We had a big week of championship games. Obviously, we have a lot to talk about, but first, Max, say hello.
Hello.
Taylor, say hello.
Hi.
So before we get into that, let's go over our records. These are the final records for the season of college football. Obviously, we'll do our big bowl pick 'em, and we'll start that up this week. But let's go over the final record. Taylor, who is your daddy, and who is the champ? I guess that's both of them actually, because
What the
I'm
fuck
your
are you
daddy
talking about?
and I'm the champ because I won. Tell them what the record was.
You already fucking said it, so I guess we won't talk about it. Moving
Tell them
on.
the record. Tell them the
No.
record.
Me and Max went 2-4 this week. I mean, had to take some big chances on some of these conference teams. I should have took Clemson. I really should have took Clemson. I knew I should have took
I knew
Clemson.
they were gonna win. I don't know. I was hoping they wouldn't.
Now, I mean, I was a little shocked Tulane lost. I mean, shout out Army, I guess, but whatever.
Yeah.
And I was
Don't
an
pick
idiot.
against the troops
And I was an
ever again.
idiot. I was an idiot. I'll be honest with y'all. I did not watch enough Big 12 this year, so I did not know how good Arizona State was. I was just kind of guessing. So, yeah. Me and Max went 2-4. Alex went 4-2, which means the final records are I finished at 41-52 for the year. Max finished at 42-51, and Alex finished with the win at 45-48. So we all lost you money. So don't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the moral of the story. We all fucking suck. I mean, you should just listen to our NFL picks because we actually do pretty decent on that. We're
How
all
about
over 500 in NFL.
yeah, how about locks and that stuff
Oh, I had
mostly?
this. I think only one of us hit a lock. I had it
It was
down.
me because I had the
Yeah.
Oregon lock.
Yeah, you had Oregon lock, but Max's Max's sneak was UK. It was a basketball one, but it was UK -1.5 against Clemson. That didn't hit. And Max's lock was SMU -2.5, and that did not hit. Neither did any of mine. So the lock you hit was Oregon -3.5.
My sneak did not hit because I had
Once again,
Syracuse.
I'm never betting if Texas and Georgia play again. I don't care. I'm taking Georgia. I mean, fucking Texas just let me down twice.
Yeah, they struggled a lot. I mean, they were moving the ball good, especially that first half. First of all, let's go ahead and jump into it. We'll talk about what happened last week.
Well, do you
So
want to go chronologically by
I'll just
time?
I'll just go by whatever game I think of, and we're already talking about the Texas one.
Okay.
So Texas, obviously they lost to Georgia. First half they were looking great. I mean, they were moving the ball, lots of yards, lots of passing, but they just never could really capitalize. Lots of mistakes, turnovers, missed field goals. My question to y'all, obviously Texas is in, but Georgia, Carson Beck got injured. Is that a good thing for them, or?
I mean, I don't know. I was at a wedding, so I didn't really get to. I was off and on the second half, but he didn't
It's
really
not a
look
good
that
thing.
great. It didn't
It's
really
not a
look.
good thing. Yeah, no. The
It didn't really
quarterback.
look that great.
I mean, for a minute there, he actually provided a little bit of a spark because he's a little quicker than Carson Beck is. He can run a little bit, but he made a few throws here and there, but
Cool
they
name.
weren't asking him to do a lot. Yeah, but I mean, then he got absolutely obliterated at the end of the game, and then
Yeah.
Slank Neck had to come back in.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I was actually pretty much joking. Obviously, I think Carson's a better quarterback. He did look a little bit quicker. He was moving around a little bit more. Shout out to Georgia. Tough season, really hard schedule. Be able to beat a team twice. That shows a lot about them. Defense, I think, is a good sign right there. Bend but not break is kind of one of those things that happen for them because Texas had a lot of opportunities. I think of Texas. I mean, they just got to capitalize once on some of those. Don't make one mistake or some of those field goals, and they win the game. But Georgia, they played themselves for a bye. I think that's a good thing. I really do like Georgia's draw.
Yeah. So the thing about Beck, just real quick, it's a UCL, so he's already definitely not playing in the Sugar Bowl.
Okay, I did not. He hurt his elbow.
Yeah, it was his elbow.
I thought he hurt his calf. Okay.
No, it was his elbow.
I don't think he like tore it or anything though, did he?
I don't know what kind of damage. They just said it was structural damage to UCL. I mean, that's Tommy. That's like what happened to Purdy. Like, if it's completely torn, he would have to do Tommy John because he can't throw.
That's right here. It's right here. So
Yeah.
You got Weenus.
yep.
If you actually watch the end when he hands the ball off, because he had to come in for a play to hand the ball off because Gunnar Stockton got absolutely fucking rocked. And then, so he actually had to come in. His arm was just hanging there. He basically took the snap with one hand, handed it off, and then the GA, like the grad, like the staff, like all surrounded him so people wouldn't hug him. Like he could barely like hold himself up. It didn't look good. It's like you were saying, they do have a pretty easy path,
We'll talk about that a little bit later. So
but they did need to buy.
they no,
I
they
was gonna ask
100%.
y'all. I was gonna ask y'all about Georgia. It would have been interesting to see, would they have Florida Stated them if they would have lost?
No, they
Right?
were
Would they have
in.
put Alabama in over Georgia?
No, they based on like the decisions
Max
that
is,
they based
I
on the
mean,
decisions they made with SMU, they weren't going to move them out. They were higher up than
yeah.
SMU.
but SMU has their starting quarterback. I'm not talking about moving SMU out. I'm talking about moving Georgia out and putting
Well,
Alabama
based on
in.
like how they SMU lost their championship, they weren't going to move a team out for losing the championship. I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
that they lost their quarterback. They weren't moving Georgia out. Georgia was a lock.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go to Arizona State and Iowa State. I didn't watch much of this game. I watched some of the highlights, but Arizona State handled business. They handled business fairly well too. Scattaboo for Arizona State. Apparently, he's him, and we
He
haven't
ran
really
all
given
over
him.
him.
I
Yeah,
watched the
apparently
whole
we didn't
thing.
give him much love. So shout out to Scattaboo. I know he's watching the pod. He looked good. I mean, Arizona State looked pretty good. I obviously personally I don't think they're good enough for the bye, but hey, they played themselves and based off some other results, they got the bye. They got the 4.
They're the
Uh,
fucking they're one of the bottom seeds and they get to
yeah.
buy.
I will say Iowa State, Rocco, uh, good season for them. I mean, they were one of the teams that was talked about getting kind of to this area, but I mean, you get to your conference championship. That's a good season for Iowa State, and
But this is like I was listen. I did not watch enough Big 12 this year. I understand why it's in one big league because if that's your second best team, holy shit, because they just didn't look very good.
Arizona State's hot. They've been hot for a long
And
time.
it's kind of like you talking about Arizona State. Give them a little defense here. They didn't have their quarterback for one of their losses, so they've only lost one time with their actual quarterback playing. They had a backup going, so they're really 11-1 with their
I know
starting
we were
quarterback.
talking about like we thought their quarterback was out for this game. It was their starting wide receiver. Is he going to be back or is he out for the rest?
I think he'll be back. I couldn't
Okay,
remember what
that's
it
big.
was. He was gonna try to play this week. He just couldn't practice.
And that buy is huge for
They
them then.
yes, and they're playing. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. But they're playing in the Peach Bowl. They did not get. I know a bunch of them wanted the Fiesta Bowl, but I don't think they were the college football playoff was going to give them that big of a home field advantage.
Max, what do you have to say about Scattaboo's last name? If you could make a last name like that, what would yours be?
Oh, I don't know. It's Babadula.
Joe Burrow just threw a pick.
Dang.
What would your name be?
Probably Scattaboo's like a really cool like be scatting, probably um Flankatonk. Is that good?
Blankatunk? Mine would be Cash Money.
Okay. Taylor?
Suck me.
No. Okay.
That's pretty
Uh,
good.
let's go to. We're gonna save Clemson for the last one. Let's go to the Penn State Oregon game. That was
I didn't
actually
watch it. I didn't watch any of this.
it was a good game.
I was watching Clemson
I was
SMU.
watching SMU.
I
Yeah.
was watching SMU and Clemson, but that was a good game. Penn State came to life. They got some offense going, which is surprising. Personally, I thought Oregon would blow them out. They did not. Penn State was able to score some points with them. I think that was a good showing from Penn State.
Their front seven all looks like they're NFL players.
Mhm.
It's pretty impressive. They yeah, they also have a. I'm just saying I think they're matched up where they're 6.
Yeah,
They're. We'll talk about it more later, but they're poised
yeah.
for a
Drew
semifinal.
Aller looked good. Obviously, he got outdueled by Dylan Gabriel. I think that performance by Dylan Gabriel is the reason he had actually got invited to the Heisman finals. I didn't think he'd get invited over. I thought they would just be Cam Ward, like bring the Genty and Hunter, but I think that performance
Mhm.
actually got him the invite to the
Well,
Heisman.
it's not about it's not about the invite. It's just about everybody has to vote at the end of the year, so they already know who wins. So
Hmm.
what they do is wherever there's the biggest drop off percentage wise, that's where they cut it off. So
Hmm.
those four were the highest, and there was a big drop off after from 4 to
Well,
5.
I'm saying like I think that performance is what got him there,
Okay,
like because it was
you
a really good
got
performance
him
by him.
got him some fourth place, some third,
Yeah,
probably some random third and second place votes that
yeah,
uh-huh.
because he looked great. Because
He should be there. He's the best he's the starting quarterback on the best team in the country. I think that's always a shoe in pretty
and that's
much.
I mean, that's a Penn State. That's the one thing about them. You might not like their offense, but their defense is solid. They have a great defense. So for him to do that against them showed a lot.
I have to say I did whiff on my I remember saying I didn't think Penn State would be able to score on Oregon. I was completely wrong.
They showed a lot right there. I don't think they can win the championship, but that showed something where it gave me a little bit more like they could get there if they can do that. But it's just up to that. Do you have anything else?
I think they're one of them that can, not one of them that probably will.
Yeah.
They're in that they can if they get hot and everything goes right for them. Especially because we don't know what's up with Georgia, and that could be a semifinal matchup. So
Hmm.
I believe, yeah.
Okay.
So
Anything else? Max, you said you weren't watching this one.
We're watching it all.
Okay.
do you want to? What did you talk about? We talked about Army, right? I know it
we
doesn't
can
mean
we
it
can
doesn't
talk
mean
about that one
anything.
real quick.
I just wanted Alex was right to take what's his name over on touchdowns. He scored like 4.
Yep, Bryson
I was
Daly.
just real quick. Shout out Army. I was impressed with that. Army
Uh,
Navy this week.
I'll say Bryson Daly. You know, well, it's kind of cheating now, but I hope y'all know Bryson Daly has more rushing touchdown than Ashton Genty this year. I don't know if y'all knew that. He's really
Yeah,
good. They put the beat down on Tulane. That one thing for me was like questioning Tulane wanting to be there. They got knocked out of the playoffs the week before, and then you're telling me you had to go up north playing this cold
I didn't
game.
know it was in Army.
Yeah, of this
I
cold
also
game
didn't know
outside.
Boise State UNLV was. I thought that was a neutral site. I did
Okay,
not know that was in.
Idaho,
Yeah.
Boise. Yep.
So
But yeah, Army put it on them. They were killing them the whole game. It was really never close. Bryson Daly's a stud. He's gonna get some Heisman votes. He's obviously not gonna win it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's like 6, 7 around that area. Just because I mean, if you look at his yards, it's actually insane what he's doing. But yeah, Army looked great.
do you think if UNLV would have beat Boise State, Army would have got that last spot?
Nah, they wouldn't have been able to.
They would gave it.
Tulane wasn't ranked.
They would have gave it to UNLV.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about that one real quick. I didn't really watch much of it. Boise
I
handled
did.
business.
It
You
was
did?
boring. They scored. They went up 21-0 at halftime and won 21-7.
Okay.
Um, it got. It didn't even. I want to say. I don't want to say it got interesting. I mean, like with like 4 minutes left, UNLV scored a touchdown and then got the ball really quickly and drove all the way down to like the 5, but then they couldn't score. So they'd almost got it within like one score, but yeah.
Genty got like 200 yards, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a 75-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, I saw that.
That
Yep.
was the majority of his yards.
Boise secured the 3. Ugh, man, yeah, they gotta fix that one because
Well, they were going to be the 4 if SMU would have won, but
yeah, but like,
still. Well, I mean, that's a whole other topic. They said
well,
there should be, first of all, there should be reseeding after the first round. I have always argued that you should just not seed. You should just seed the 4, like the buys and make them all 1 seeds, and then just randomly. Then you pick the 4 out of the next 8. You pick the 4 best teams to get home games, and then you just randomly do it. And then you reseed it
exactly.
after. So.
Yeah.
Or
Last
fuck, I
one.
mean 5-12. You can seed them and then you seed them based off of after. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Last one. So the game of all games, the one that us Bama fans we're all watching. Everyone was watching. This had the most
I laughed.
implications on the college football playoffs. And for me and Max, the thing that we didn't want to happen, the thing that would secure us out of the playoffs occurred. So if I didn't watch it, I'll give a quick rundown. First quarter, Clemson jumped out on top of them. Pretty much the first half, Clemson was absolutely dog walking SMU. They were on top. I think it was 24-7 or something like that going into the second half. Then all of a sudden, Clemson decides, hey, we're gonna run just prevent the rest of the game. And SMU was able to start moving the ball. Clemson's offense stopped doing anything. SMU eventually tied the game up with 20 seconds left or something like that. They kick the ball off, about to head to overtime, but instead Clemson has their longest return of the year. They get the ball to their 40. They pass it down to the other 37 with about 5 seconds left. They kick a 56-yard walk-off field goal. Clemson wins the game. Clemson steals a
Alabama
lock.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah, and then knocks Alabama out.
Because y'all finished 11th still in the rankings. It was
Yeah.
just you got knocked out by Clemson who finished like 14th.
Yep, Max. So we've had a lot of talk. Tell us what you're thinking about it. Like, what happened?
Well, the committee wants a good story instead of actual resumes. I mean, and this whole thing is bullshit. It's just shitty. Boise State shouldn't have a bye. Arizona State shouldn't have a bye. SMU, if they won, they shouldn't even have a fucking bye. I mean, it's all I mean, the whole ACC is terrible. No one in the ACC has a good win. I mean, Clemson shouldn't be a playoff team. They should only be a one bid conference, and then they definitely shouldn't have had a bye. Oregon, the number 1 seed, the most deserving seed, gets the hardest path. You know, they get screwed. Penn State gets SMU and then Boise after just losing to Oregon. It's all just, it's there. Some change needs to happen. It's, and not just for for Alabama side. I was disappointed, but I wasn't surprised. I knew that if that situation happened, that's a possibility that they would put him in because of that. I mean, I disagree with it. A lot of people disagree with it. But that's what they decided to do.
As
And
far
I'm
as
still allowed to bitch about it.
Shit.
I'm still gonna bitch about it. But hey,
I
it
mean,
is what it
South
is.
Carolina beat Clemson and then finished ranked behind them.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking
and
about
it doesn't
bids.
make
I'm just
sense
like, how does that
also. Clemson beats SMU and then SMU's ranked in front of Clemson? How does that make sense?
honestly, when I saw Clemson 12, I thought Alabama was getting in because I was like, well, they're. But I think it was just because
3 losses.
they only got in because they were in the playoffs and SMU got it. I don't think they're ever going to put it in. I think, well,
Nick Saban was right when he was talking about it. He said they should have never had SMU ranked in front of Alabama in the first place. It should have been a play-in game for Clemson and SMU.
yeah, spoiler. I mean, this format will happen again next year because they can't change it. But in 26, it's going to get changed and they'll fix everything. But the SEC's. I mean, Greg Sankey signed off on this. I mean, he's just as at fault as all the coaches agreed to it too. I mean, they're just as at fault as like the committee. Like they agreed. They agreed to this. They knew this was
They
gonna.
agreed to this exactly because they agreed that the committee would
Yeah,
like they've
but they
always
didn't. But
said
they.
that they would take strength of schedule into consideration, which
You
they don't.
saw you. I was gonna say
They
you saw
don't.
him. You saw him say that again, and that's just like, oh man, you can't say that
No, you
after this
don't.
because
I mean,
if you
half the
did
teams
that,
in the playoff are below 50th strength of schedule.
Well, I'm just saying they did. They should have went in there, which they will now. And the SEC and the Big Ten should have demanded a certain amount of automatic qualifiers.
Yeah.
So this couldn't have happened. But I mean, the whole system's broken. I get it.
but that
I,
was legitimately the only way that was gonna happen. If that game, the way it played out, was the only way that was gonna happen. If Clemson continues keeping their foot on the gas pedal and they blow them out, Alabama's in. If SMU doesn't just mess around the first half, make all those mistakes, and they could. I mean, based on how SMU played the second half, if they would have played like that the whole game, they would have blown out Clemson as well, or they would have just won, which that's all they had to do.
I have a theory on that. I mean,
You think they huddled up and like, hey, let us come back and we'll have 2 bids?
I don't. I mean, I You never say never on something like that, but I think Clemson just went from playing free to trying not to lose. But also, like SMU, just in the back of their head, I think they were just not thinking, "Listen, we got to win the game." They were just trying to think, "We just got to
We,
get it close."
yeah, exactly. Because I think like if you're trying to win that game and you're in the position like and it's a win and you get in, you go for two right there. Personally,
Yeah, yeah, that's why I think he didn't go for two. But I don't know. I think he
but
was.
I think if
I think if they missed it,
they
I
still
think
in,
they're still
yeah,
in. So I don't actually was talking to Parker about that. I was like, "Why didn't?" I mean, I feel like you should just went for the win.
they
But
were
that
so
might have.
once they
So
got there and they knew they were going to get overtime, they weren't going to get
I
pushed
think
out
they
of
would have.
the
I think they
yeah.
would have won in overtime. So
Well,
that
what I'm saying is like once they knew they were going to go to
the
overtime, they
time
weren't
they
going
were
to get
not get
knocked
pushed
out. Yeah,
out. So they were already playing an extra game. Now they're playing extra to extra. To answer your question, Max said something. I think they're just establishing that the fifth conference champion is always going to be a 12 seed. It is always going to be the 12 seed, the fifth the one conference champ that doesn't make it. Because normally it would be like the group of five team. So I think they're
I
just
think it would have been.
establishing.
I think. I mean, I obviously think that SMU should have been the 12, and I think Clemson should have gone to 11, just based off that. I think
I,
that makes more sense.
It makes more sense, and I don't
well,
really
I
think I'm
wonder how
not saying it's
much.
it's a steal or anything. I don't think that I understand what they're saying. I just think it's wrong. But I also think a factor that plays into it is what happened last year. I think if they would have put Alabama in again, they would have the public would have perceived them to
Well, that was already
favor
happening.
favor Bama, but it's not because it's Bama. It's because you look at the resume, and that's what it is. The
You
Well,
look
stats
at
don't
you
lie.
look at the
agree.
resume,
I
and
agree, but I agree, but I feel like Ole Miss is getting left out of this too.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
but
Like I mean, I would argue like, well, so
the thing is for me,
if we're doing strength to, I mean, both Alabama and Ole Miss's non-conference schedule was they're both pretty weak, but their
oh
conference
yeah.
schedules were both. Alabama played a tougher conference schedule than Ole Miss, but I would argue like, I mean, Ole Miss beat the SEC champion by like 30, beat the shit out of South Carolina, and I mean they had their bad loss, but like one bad loss, one okay loss. I I don't know why Miami finished ahead of Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Why did Miami jump Ole Miss and South Carolina but not jump Alabama? What is the big difference between Ole Miss and Alabama? I mean, it's a dumb point now.
it's playing
It's a
Ranked
politics.
wins,
it's a
It's
dumb
ranked
point now.
wins.
I guess so, but obviously they don't mean that much because SMU has 0 ranked wins.
Exactly. I mean, that's
So
that's
I
what
so
they're
mean,
that's what they're saying. Yeah.
so like I don't understand how they're. You know where they fucked up, and it's ESPN did this. It's putting out weekly rankings.
Yeah.
Because
someone's
they put themselves in a spot where they could not put out if they don't ever put out weekly rankings, then they could have put Alabama in. They could have put whoever the hell they wanted in.
they should have waited like so I
They
heard
should
this
never
they
do
were
it.
talking about this on unnecessary roughness. If they just wait, that they don't give one the final week and they just wait till after, then they can do whatever they want and whatever they say is fine. Just because of like I mean they didn't give one the previous week and they can have like more of a discussion, more wiggle room to move
March
people further back and further forward, whatever they want to do.
the basketball tournament never does. It does exactly that. Like
Yeah,
they
but
don't.
anyways, uh, the whole problem was, I mean, once you release that SMU is right there where they're at previously, the whole country is against Alabama getting in. It's one of those things. They don't want us in. They want the underdog to get in, and that's exactly what happened. I mean,
It's a better
the,
story.
I mean, yes, and essentially, I mean, the committee knows the outrage that would happen if they put Bama in over SMU, and especially putting them in over SMU with that type of loss. They would have been getting bullied, and they were already getting bullied. People were like, if they do this, they might as well cancel the conference championship. But I will say one thing with their decision, they did show value in the conference championship, which is a good thing.
I think they were setting a precedent there. It's too
But they
value.
also they tried to show value, but they also devalued it at the same time.
They devalued the strength of schedule, yes.
No, they devalued the conference championship game. Look at Oregon. Oregon wins the championship, and they have
Penn
a
St-
harder way
Well,
to go than Penn State does.
well, they
that's
gave
not
that's
their
a
fault.
whole different
That's not
problem.
their fault.
Well, it is because they
Yes,
agreed to
it is.
they
Well,
the
what
the
I'm saying, like,
buys thing. The buys thing is the problem with that.
the bias is the problem with that. Yes, but I mean they rewarded Oregon. Oregon's number one. They're your number one team, obviously. But you got to say
I
that.
bet they
So
wish
like
they weren't. But they wish
obviously
they were the 3 seed.
they're obviously they're most likely gonna play Texas next round. But what if Texas loses to Clemson? Then they're playing 12 seed Clemson, and
Nah.
Oregon can run it up on them. That's just how the bracket goes. They're gonna have to fix that in the
Well,
future. So
well, I think Max's point is they shouldn't be playing the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee. They should be playing the winner of like Indiana, Penn State or something like not Penn State, but you get my point.
well,
Indiana, SMU or something like that. A
they
true
wouldn't
8-9 game, not
they
not
wouldn't be playing them.
the
You're wrong.
8-9 game. So like this
They're not
spoiler.
playing the 8-9. They're playing 5-12.
No, the 1 seed plays the 8-9.
I'm
You're
pretty
having
sure.
this. The
Am I
4 plays
confused?
the 4 plays the 5-12.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Arizona State plays the winner of.
Oh,
Yes.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah.
So here's the problem. Just real quick, I heard this and this is a good point. The 1 and the 2 is always going to be each year. Spoiler: the SEC champion and the Big Ten champion. And then in some form, depending on Notre Dame, the 5 and the 6, and then or maybe 7 if Notre Dame's 5 for 1 year, is going to be the teams, the SEC and Big Ten runner up. Then the 8 and the 9 is always going to be the third best team in the SEC and the third best team in the Big Ten. If you continue this format, why? You know what I'm saying? So like, no, you don't want to be the 1 seed because you're playing the Tennessee and Ohio State, the first 2 teams that didn't make the conference championship game in the SEC and the Big Ten.
Well, like you
They
said,
should be playing like SMU versus Indiana should be the 8-9.
they'll
something
change
like
it.
that.
Obviously, we'll have one more year, but they'll change it where they fix it.
Well, it's going to 14 at least in 2
Yeah,
years.
it'll go 14, and then they'll fix the seating of it. And I think they'll make it where like 1 through 4 teams with buys, they're not the conference championship. They're the 4 best teams based on their metrics and based on who they think the 4 best teams are. I do think like a conference championship, you'll be guaranteed in, but it's not going to guarantee you just because you're a conference championship a buy. It shouldn't.
Yeah, no,
because obviously ACC this year is booty. Boise State shouldn't. Arizona State shouldn't. I mean, the 4 teams that had a buy this year should have been Oregon. It should have been Georgia,
Texas,
and then probably Penn State.
Notre Dame or Penn State. Notre Dame or Penn State, whatever you want to say. You argue that, and then the other one's 5.
Yes.
So that's your top 5, which is stupid because that's how they're ranked. But then they have to seed them differently. If you actually look at the bracket, they're actually, the what is it? The 6 and the Ohio State and Tennessee are 6 and 7 in the rankings, and they're playing in the 8-9 game. Like, no. So I don't know.
We've been talking about this a lot. One thing I want to do real quick is I want y'all. Let me click on this so I can't see anything at all. 1 second. So I'm going to name out the teams for the college football playoff, and I want you to tell me if they have a chance to win it, if you think they're a leader, if you think they have a chance, or if you think they have a little chance or no chance to win the whole thing.
So you want to tier them into like championship contender, could win it, maybe can win a game, basically. Nothing, not a chance.
So
you know what? Before you do this, and this is the last thing, because I wanted to say this earlier. We're doing a lot of talk about SMU, but Indiana's probably worse than SMU, and this got accepted in.
I'd probably put Indiana a little bit over SMU.
Okay.
At least they played a ranked team. I mean, not a ranked team, but like a top tier team. And then they also played Michigan. Like Michigan wasn't supposed to be that terrible,
Okay, that's fair. Go ahead, Alex. I just want.
Yeah, I mean, we'll start off with number 12, Clemson, championship contender.
They could scare Texas, but they're not. Can't win anything.
Okay.
I don't even know if they can win the game, but they can scare them.
Who are we talking about?
Clemson.
Clemson? No, they can't win a game.
Okay, I'm on the same boat as you. I don't think Clemson can win a game. I think they looked. Obviously, first half they looked good against SMU, but second half they looked awful. And I think SMU is not a good team. So I think they can't even win a game. I think they will get mollywopped in Texas. But that's for a later story. SMU. They play Penn State first round. So
they could win. They could win a game. But I don't think they can win the national championship.
Well, if you think they could win a game, that means they'll play Boise State the next round.
Yeah, I mean, I could actually see a path to them making it to the
Final four.
semifinals.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, they can't win a game. They're not gonna be able to score like they did on Clemson on Penn State's defense. I
Weirdly
don't
enough,
think.
they might have rather been in Texas just because of the weather.
One thing I would like to add to this, I don't think they'll beat Penn State, but I think it would have been cooler to send SMU as the 12 seed to Texas and Clemson to Penn State. I
Like they
think a
did the
little,
Indiana and like they
yeah,
did with
I think that would
yeah.
have been cooler. Well, Clemson, Texas and SMU in Texas
Hmm.
matchup.
Hmm.
Uh, Indiana.
I actually think they might beat Notre Dame, but they'll lose to Georgia. I, their defense is. I don't know. I don't trust Notre Dame,
I
and
agree, and I don't trust Notre Dame that much. I think Indiana could possibly beat them. You know, that I think Indiana's offense could score enough points, and we've seen Notre Dame's offense kind of struggle at times playing decent
yeah,
teams. Um, but I'd still pick Notre Dame to win, but I could see it being a pretty good game.
So I disagree with y'all. I think Notre Dame's going to run through them. Shout out to the college playoff committee. That is a fun game. Indiana at Notre Dame. That's a really fun game. So they did a good job with that one.
there's the
Not funner than them at Notre Dame.
the two of the
Sure.
four. I'm actually two of the four. I'm interested in the other two. Not really.
I mean, so I'm assuming you're talking about Tennessee, Ohio State, Indiana, Notre Dame.
Yes.
Those are the two.
Yeah.
I'll be interested in the Clemson, Texas. I'll keep my head looking. I'll look at the score. I'll check the score just on that, just in case. Tennessee,
No, they could win it all.
Max.
I think if Nico plays the way he's played late and being able to show that he can hit deep balls, yeah, I think they could win it all.
Dark horse. Dark
Yeah.
horse. Obviously, they have the toughest road there.
Yeah, at Ohio State and then Oregon. I mean,
They
they
have the
actually
toughest
have
road.
the toughest road of anybody, which is
Yeah.
But
bullshit.
what
But
and plus, yeah, what you said though, Nico's playing better, and it's not a question about their defense. Their defense is legit. Tennessee has a great defense, but the one thing I'll say is that their running back got hurt the last game, but I'm pretty sure he'll be fine to play this. So he
Tennessee's
should.
running back.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Yeah, but
He should be okay.
they'll be almost a month off at that point, right?
Hmm.
So they do need their running back. He's the
But
leading rusher in the
big thing, if
conference.
Nico can play like he has been playing, then yes. Ohio State.
They could win it all. Absolutely, they can win it all. They have a $20 million roster. They should be able. Ryan Day might have to win it all. To be honest with you, so
I saw
yeah,
someone say, Ryan Ryan Day doesn't win the championship, they have to fire him on the field right after the game. I think they can win it all. Yeah, they can win it all. I question because I know Max is going to say it. So Max, go ahead and say what you're going to say because I know what you're going to say about the thing that you questioned about Ohio State.
starts with a W.
I think they could win it all. I think it depends on who they play. I think they could possibly. I think if they run into like a Georgia in the championship, I don't think they could beat Georgia. I think
Well,
that
the problem is they're
Will
running
Howard.
into Oregon right after.
They have to play Tennessee and Oregon to get to the
I
semis.
know, but like, I think Georgia's gonna win it all. I just think Georgia's defense is too good. I'm sorry to say that, but not really sorry to say it. But yeah. But you're saying you gotta play Tennessee, but they get Tennessee at home. That's pretty.
That's big.
That's
That's
pretty good.
That's such a big swing.
That would have been
And
more
then you
fun
gotta
at
play.
Tennessee. Would
The
have been more
line,
fun.
yeah, playing in Tennessee would have been more fun. To be honest with you, that's gonna be a tough one to pick.
But I think it depends on Will Howard. It depends on how he plays.
That I do trust Nico more than I trust Will Howard. But I mean, it's just ironic. Anybody in that little 3-team pod of Oregon, Texas, and Ohio State can win it all.
Notre Dame.
I don't trust Notre Dame,
Did
man.
he not throw a touchdown? What happened?
He just threw it to T. Higgins and he missed him
Oh,
right on third down.
So here's the thing about Notre Dame. I'm just trying to think of their pod. So they have Indiana. I'm not
They
saying
got
they
Georgia.
can't. Yeah, no, they're not getting past Georgia. The winner of Indiana Notre Dame is losing Georgia. I don't care who's at quarterback. Georgia's where he start in the semis if they're playing Penn State without that's when you start going, well, what can Stockton do to me? Because Stockton, I think, you know what, he can actually run, so he's got pretty good legs. So, but I just
Max,
think if Indiana played Georgia, the athlete, it would look like the Ohio State game.
you think
Talking
Notre Dame can
Georgia.
do it?
Oh, Notre
Notre Dame.
Dame. No.
I
Quarterback's not good enough.
great running game, good defense. I think you got to spread the ball out some to get past Georgia. If Notre Dame were somewhere else, I would like them, but the problem is Georgia. They got Georgia right in front of them, so I think it's a no for me. Penn State.
Yeah, they can. They got mainly because of their pod, but because I don't necessarily trust James Franklin to win a big game. But they're not gonna have to play a quote unquote big game until the semis. So because I think they beat SMU, and then I think they beat Boise State.
Mhm.
Well, Boise State's going to try to run Ashton Genty against their front seven
They
50
got their
times,
worst
and
matchup.
they got their Boise State got a terrible matchup.
Yeah.
I have that right, correct? That's it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. They have.
Yeah. They're going to try to run him up the middle against that fucking front seven of Penn State. That's all going to be like. It wouldn't shock me if they're like the new. You know how the Eagles all have Georgia defensive players,
Mhm.
defensive line. It like that might happen in a couple years with another team.
Max.
They can win it all, but they definitely get a free ride to the semis. They'll play Georgia, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Anybody that makes semis can win it. I think if you
Uh,
make it to semis, you can win. You're just 2 wins away.
so Penn State got the best draw to anybody. SMU, then Boise State. Like, holy, like, look at that. I
That would
mean,
have
that's
been it. That
huge
that would
for.
have been y'all. Y'all
I
would have
know, it
had
would have been
Penn
us.
State. Okay, of course. Listen, I do have one more thing on Alabama. Y'all had not proved that y'all could play good on the road. So playing at Penn
No,
State,
true. That
yeah,
would have been a
yeah,
tough game. Yeah, it wouldn't have
yeah.
been guaranteed.
Mhm.
But anyways,
And a lot funner than SMU.
yeah,
Yeah. Texas.
they can win it all. But uh, they might need to change quarterbacks.
I was gonna say that. Max.
They can win it all as long as they don't play Georgia.
Well, they have to play Georgia in the championship game. I think it would be the championship game, correct?
It
Yes.
would be. Yes.
Unless
So
Georgia loses, yeah.
Yeah, it's. I
I
mean,
would
I actually wouldn't be shocked just because how good their defense is that's the rematch because they got such a good defense. Having the key is having a good defense.
Yeah.
mhm. I think Texas could do it. Quinn Ewers, he was good some of the game. Then the other times of the game, he missed some people. Uh, Archie Manning, might be time to take a look because I think he adds more dimensions to the offense. And Texas, they have the talent, and uh, something is just off with them. Their team doesn't looks like
What's
they're
their
missing
quarterback?
something, and
It's their
I'll tell you what
quarterback.
it
it's the
is.
quarterback.
It's the receivers.
You think it's the receivers?
They
I,
lost two really good receivers last
Well, I
year.
saw they did, but they do
And
have like people there, right?
they have
they
athletes
have
there, bro.
Bond. And who else? Can you name one? I
I'm trying.
can.
I forgot that dude's name.
I
Hold
don't
on.
know who Isaiah Bond is actually.
I mean, and Bond hasn't had a great year this year.
No.
I'm telling you, that's what the receivers aren't as elite as they were last year, and I think that's a big part of the issue. Obviously, Quinn hasn't played great, but I think especially against teams like
Wingo.
Georgia, I
Wingo.
Mhm.
That's
think
it. Wingo.
he's pretty good, but like not elite like they were last year.
Mhm.
Oh,
Like
can we be honest though? The more frustrating thing about yours is that he makes these like NFL. Herb Street was talking about this. I heard him say this, so I'm kind of copying him. I didn't come up with this. The tougher throws he makes, it's the easy reads that he just goes full like dumbass on and throws picks. Like all his
uh,
picks and stuff he's been throwing are on simple like they're just staring the linebacker down on a crossing route and throwing the ball.
The thing that I say, I think you put Manning in. I think he opens up the run game more, and I think that helps the receivers a little bit more.
you think if they get in a tough game, I think they'll do it.
Yeah, I think they will.
So their
I mean,
path,
they've already shown that they will.
but here's the thing: so their path is Clemson and Arizona State
They'll make it. They'll make it the semis.
to play either Oregon or Tennessee or Ohio State.
Yep.
So I think you're either getting Texas versus Oregon, Ohio State, or Tennessee. So
Arizona State.
No. I think they have a better shot than, believe it or not, I think they have a better shot than Boise.
Yeah,
But
I do too.
um,
I think they're a better team than boys. I
that's
actually watched that game. I like their running back. I like their quarterback too. He can move. He can run around.
yeah. If we're being
They'll
honest,
get their one receiver back too.
yeah, if
Yeah.
we're being honest, and we're having to go by this dumbass automatic 4 buys, they should have been the 3 seed, not the 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think they can win it all, but they could give Texas a scare in the next round. They could give Texas all they want. I think.
They can actually. Um, what's his name? Dillingham. He's a good coach.
Yeah, yeah.
He's gonna get a good job, a big job, an SEC Big Ten job soon.
Boise State.
No, they got the worst draw possible.
Yes, they got the
Like
team.
like unless SMU beats, if SMU could beat Penn State, which is not going to happen. They got the absolute worst draw because they're literally going to sit there and try to run Ashton Denny 35 times against Penn State. No, Max.
No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I was,
they got
they're
the
gonna
worst draw. They got the
get
team. They got Penn State. That is probably the last team that they wanted to play.
Penn State or Georgia, and
Yeah.
the thing is they're
If
on
they
the
win,
side with Georgia anyway. So
yeah,
like they needed to be on like I don't know if they're Notre Dame. They needed like a Notre Dame type draw or
or
something,
Indiana.
or Indiana.
Yeah,
That they were
they needed the flip flop with
they
Georgia.
need to yeah. Yeah, no.
Georgia, I
Yeah,
think
Georgia
so.
should be the
That bye for
favorite.
them is huge. That bye for them is huge. They've had the hardest schedule of the country. Lots of time to recover, game plan, and plus they play at Indiana or Notre Dame. So I
They
think
get
they can handle
another
those
bye.
teams well. I think the problem with Georgia is a team passing the ball on them. Uh, Notre Dame can't do that, and then Indiana, they just don't have the talent to beat them.
Can Penn State do that? I haven't watched them enough. I've just watched their
Drew Allen
defense.
looked really like a lot better the last game, so that'd be a fun matchup.
So here's where I think Georgia runs into problems, and it's just a big if scenario. Oregon, absolutely. I actually think
Oregon's the favorite.
Oregon is the favorite. I was gonna, but my point earlier was gonna say is they're the 3-time, they're Georgia. It should always be Georgia until it's not. That's my motto sometimes with this. But the more I think about it, Oregon is a bad matchup for them
Yeah.
because it's kind of like what you're talking about. Somebody that can throw the ball around on them, get into their secondary.
Mm-hmm.
I think
You
Oregon's
start
favorite.
spreading them out, and
Yeah,
you start having a Georgia that needs to score points. Georgia doesn't necessarily want to do that. They want to kind of keep it lower scoring, keep it like a 20 in the 20s. Oregon will make them score at least probably 30 to beat them. And the problem with Georgia, once you have them start moving the ball, especially if Carson Beck is at quarterback, you start running into those turnovers. And Georgia's defense is also prone. They've been playing, they look good against Texas, but they are prone to allowing some of those big plays. And that's what Oregon will do.
yeah.
So
I think
obviously,
Oregon's the
we all
favorite.
agree Oregon.
Well,
They
I
can
don't. I
win.
think Max thinks Georgia's the favorite.
I think Georgia's the favorite, but I do think Oregon's probably has the best chance of beating them because the quarterback who can.
Mhm.
That's Georgia's weaknesses. They played when they lost to Alabama and Ole Miss. Both quarterbacks were just on fire and couldn't miss.
More for Alabama than the Ole Miss game, but yeah, I will say Oregon, if they run into Tennessee that next round, that'll be a
That
game to watch.
that could be scary, but I'm glad you said something like that. That Ole Miss Georgia comp is a pretty good for Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good comp for Oregon. That's why I think Oregon's the favorite. Same thing like Alabama, like Alabama Ole Miss is a good comp for what Oregon's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Alabama would be for different reasons because Milrow and they could run the ball would spread them out. But those other teams like Oregon is really good at, like you said, spreading them out. And I think yes, I think Georgia wants to keep it low. And I want personally, that's the national championship game I want to see is Oregon, either that or Texas Georgia 3, just for the hell of it to see if Georgia could actually beat them 3 times because I think that would be funny as shit. But
I personally hope the one thing I'm hoping for this playoffs is SMU gets absolutely throttled. Then
Boise State too.
I hope Clemson gets throttled. and I hope Boise State gets throttled.
So if you're an SEC fan, which
I
like
want
we all are, you should be pulling for
Tennessee versus
Tennessee.
Texas, then I want Georgia versus Penn State. I want that to be the
Yes.
semifinals, and then I we'll have I think Georgia will beat Penn State, and then we'll have an SEC championship game. So everybody's saying that SEC isn't good or that they shouldn't value a strength of schedule. Had those teams that had the hardest strength of schedules go and win every game because they had a hard strength of schedule
The
because
best
they're battle
scenario would
tested.
actually be Georgia Texas, because then you go, dude,
Mm-hmm.
we just got 3 teams in, and our top 2 teams are playing again, because the 2 best teams in our league are the 2 best teams in the country. But I mean, I think if enough of them made the semis, Georgia, Oregon wouldn't hurt you either, because then you just
Mm-hmm.
the SEC and Big Ten can go, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah. That wraps up our playoff talk. We'll do the predictions. We're not going to do the college football playoff predictions till next week, but that's kind of just the talk that we have right now. Real quick, we'll go into the Heisman finalists. We're all saying Travis Hunter is going to win it, right?
Yeah, we can skip over that.
Ashton Jenny will be second.
And then
Kellen
Cam Ward
Gabriel will be
third.
third.
I
Cam
think
Ward will be fourth.
Okay, yeah, that might be just because of record.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have much rather Miami been in instead of Clemson. I mean, they both suck, but at least I could have watched Cam Ward play. He's fun to watch.
I will say that fifth will be Shador. So if you want to do a little 1 through 5 parlay of what rankings, that's going to be it. You could probably make some money off that. I think. I don't know what it would pay out, but I think that's going to be your 1 through 5 right now. I'm pretty confident in it actually. But now what we're gonna do, we're gonna start our college football bowl game predictor presented by Capital One. Capital One sponsors us. If y'all didn't know this, we'll pick some of the lesser games. We'll probably go through about 20 of them. We'll stop. We'll do a little bit of basketball at the end, talk about how the ACC SEC challenge went, and then we'll give you a locks and everything. But we'll start it off.
Yeah, don't expect much thought behind this. If we're not this is not gonna be like our normal picks where we talk like for a minute or two. I mean, we might just name off because, like, dude, I don't know. Like, yeah, I can't
First,
pretend.
Max, straight to you. South Alabama versus Western Michigan in the Salute to the Veterans Bowl. South Alabama is favored by 10.5.
Can we just pick winners and losers?
I don't know. That's up to y'all. What do y'all want to do?
I don't want to pick a spread on that.
I mean, so since we're doing the Capital One Bowl pick 'em on the ESPN app, we are going to open up a group for everybody to submit it. We'll just do winners losers. We'll just do money line because that's how it'll be in there.
Yeah, okay.
That'll make it easier as well.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm glad it did.
Give me South Alabama.
Okay, Taylor Thompson.
South Alabama. I mean, this is a lot easier now. I was sitting here going, motherfucker, 10.5. I don't know. I haven't watched any of these teams.
I don't know anything about Western Michigan.
Yeah, I know a little bit about South Alabama, but I don't know anything about Western Michigan.
I'll actually go straight to mine. I have South Alabama. Yep, South Alabama.
I think South Alabama's got a good quarterback, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't remember his name, but he's pretty good.
He might not be there next year.
Tell me, Taylor, what do you know about the Cricket Celebration Bowl? Jackson State versus South Carolina State.
Jackson State versus, oh my God. We'll go with Jackson State because that's the so it's the SWAC's always way better than the MEAC normally. I'm just gonna go with Jackson State. The MEAC's the lesser of the 2 HBCUs.
I wouldn't be able to tell you what what conference either of those teams are in, so you know more ball than me for that one. Max?
Well, I just know it because I watched Dion's when they were there. You know.
Give me South Carolina State.
Ooh, the underdog. Give me Jackson State.
You probably should be telling, because I can look at him, but you probably should be telling Max at least the line so he has an idea.
The line. I gotta find it because it's not in order for this one on here.
Oh fuck! Just forget about it then.
I can tell you.
I'll pull it up on ESPN and do it. It's fine.
I can tell you that 12% of the public are picking South Carolina State, Max. So you went with the underdog.
Wise people.
Anyways,
Up next, the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. Memphis Tigers versus West Virginia. Give me the number 25 ranked Memphis Tigers. Ended the year off with a big win over Tulane. Playing spoiler, West Virginia hasn't been good the whole year. Memphis actually has a good team. Give me Memphis.
Memphis just fired their. I mean, West Virginia just fired their coach. Absolutely, yeah. Memphis. Memphis beat the shit out of Tulane.
Memphis is the favorite in this game by 1.5.
Memphis would have been better than Memphis would have a better chance of winning a game in the college football playoff than Boise State.
They lost to someone later in the year that they shouldn't have lost to. I can't
They
remember who
lost
it
one
was.
game. They lost one game all year. It was Navy.
They lost 2 games.
Oh,
What?
Memphis.
okay.
Memphis. Up next, the Boca Raton Bowl. You
The
got
Lane
the
Kiffin Bowl.
Western Kentucky Hilltoppers versus James Madison Dukes. James Madison has been very disappointing this year. Obviously, they lost Signetti. The line, James Madison is favored by 6.5. Taylor, who do you got?
Bro, I have no idea. Western Kentucky. They benched TJ Finley, who's back in the transfer portal, by the way.
Going to Iowa is what I heard.
No, that was Hank Brown that's going to Iowa.
Oh. Max,
Give me the Toppers.
the Toppers. And
Give
that
me
is
some top.
I'm gonna go with James Madison. But this one is gonna be a close game.
That I will not watch.
Yeah. This one actually is a more fun game. The Art of Sport LA Bowl. First of all, these names for these bowl games.
They're fucking wild.
What happened to the cool bowl game names?
Like the GoDaddy.com bowl.
Yeah.
Gator Bowl.
Well, those are later, but they've added so much to them. It's like the Heineken
Yeah.
Cars Gator Bowl now or something like that. Like it's not even just
Yeah.
like
So you got the UNLV, whatever they are, versus the
Rebels.
Oh yeah, they're the Rebels versus the Cal Golden Bears. UNLV is ranked number 24, and they are the underdogs. Cal is favored by 2.5. Give me UNLV. They look good. Obviously, they got beat by Boise again, but they have a good team. I wonder what could have been if they didn't lose their quarterback to not getting his NIL money this year. I wonder if they would have actually been better.
UNLV.
Cow.
That's a close one.
Hey, did you see who Cal's new offensive coordinator is going to be?
Mm-mm.
Brian Harsin. I'm not shitting you.
Really?
Yeah.
Gonna run shit up.
Did you see?
Yeah.
Bitches.
Shit's getting run up, but I won't say it on the pod so I don't get in trouble. But it's somebody. It's a couple of members of his family, not the offense.
Did you see Brian Harsin wearing a Lank shirt?
Yeah. I would also wear a Lank shirt if I had to pull the fire alarm. Never mind. I'll get like a lawsuit or something like that.
All right. The RNL Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Wow.
I always loved this bowl.
Yeah,
For whatever
this
reason,
brings
when I was
back-
little, like growing up, I would always watch this.
This brings memories back.
Is it ULL?
It's Georgia Southern Eagles versus Sam Houston Bearcats. Max, you taking the Bearcats or the Eagles?
Taking the Bearcats.
There you go.
I don't know why.
Taylor?
Sam Houston will have more people there. Give me Sam Houston.
So right now on the ESPN app, this is split down the middle, 50-50. The Georgia Southern is the favorite. It's a 4.5. I'll take Georgia Southern. Who cares? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
How did ULL not get put in this game?
No idea. The Staff DNA Cure Bowl. Ohio Bobcats, big underdogs last week with a big win, beating Miami of Ohio.
This isn't
versus
close.
Jacksonville State Gamecocks. Right now, Ohio is the 1.5 point favorite over Jacksonville State. Give me the Gamecocks. I like the Cocks. We're going Cocks.
Max?
Give me the Bobcats. They're hot right now. Just beat the shit out of somebody.
Miami, Ohio. Yeah,
Yeah.
Miami, Ohio. Jacksonville State's losing Rich Rod, so they
Doesn't
won't.
matter. Conference champions. So is
So
Ohio.
is Ohio, and Ohio's way better than them. Give me Ohio.
Let me say one thing about game day putting Timothy Charlemagne, or whatever his name is, as the guest picker. No one cares. Get someone that people who like college football like. No one wants him there.
They don't ever do it off that though.
They should. No one cares about, like, obviously that kid does not know football. He made good picks, but obviously he doesn't know football.
If somebody made the picks for him, probably.
He used to get swirlies in school. That's what he looks like.
hmm Alex gave him to him.
Actually, Max used to give me swirlies in school. But anyways, the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl.
Also, don't make fun of the Cure Bowl name. You can't. You know what that's for, right? They
The
like
Cure.
raise money. They raise money for cancer. I thought you were gonna make fun of the name when you started reading it out loud.
It's just a big name.
Raising money for cancer. I can't figure that shit out.
They're trying.
No, not fucking hard enough.
Anyways, the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl, Max. Tulane Green
Gasparilla?
Wave Gasparilla, yes. Versus the Florida Gators. Florida is favored by 9.5 points.
Give me the Gatorilla Bowls.
I like Florida ended hot this year.
Yeah, this is an easier one to pick since we're not doing lines. I think Tulane might actually show up, but so they might not cover that, but I think Florida wins.
Okay. Scroll down a little bit more. What do you think about the Myrtle Beach Bowl with Coastal Carolina Chandeliers versus the UTSA Roadrunners?
Wait, hold on a second.
The Santa
Isn't that a
Claras.
home game? Don't they play that at Coastal Carolina's like stadium?
Probably,
So Coastal Carolina's just playing at home.
most likely. They're actually
Is
the underdogs, though.
who are they playing? I'm sorry, I freaked out.
University Texas San Antonio Roadrunners.
UTSA is not as good as they were the last couple of years. Give me Coastal Carolina, especially since it's basically a home game.
Max,
UTSA Roadrunners.
I'll take Coastal. I think Coastal has a. I mean, Taylor just informed me that they're playing at home.
Well, they normally play that there, so
Hey, more power to them. Next, you got the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. See, these are the cool names I'm talking about. They didn't change this one up. This is a good name.
it's in
NIU,
Boise. What the fuck else are they going to call it?
Northern Illinois versus Fresno State. Max, hold on. Let me tell you. Fresno, Northern Illinois is favored by 2.5.
NIU beat Notre Dame this year, but they went like 6-6.
They're 7-5.
Oh my man.
Oh, you're good.
Give me Fresno State.
Taylor Thompson.
Yeah, I do Fresno too.
I actually have Fresno. What's the wide receiver's name that they have?
I know who you're talking about, but I don't know his name.
He's
I've
really
just seen it.
cool-
I've just
cool
seen his
name.
highlights.
Yeah, he has. I think he's like the leading receiver in the country.
Top 5, correct? I think
Something like that. Who's gonna win the Hawaii Bowl? South Florida versus San Jose State. San Jose State is the 2.5-point favorite. South Florida is the underdog. Give me San Jose State. South Florida. I mean, the only thing that they're good at is playing Alabama close for some reason. So, what do you think, Taylor?
Yeah, San Jose State. San Jose State proximity. They don't have to travel as far. Not that big of a time difference for them. I think it's what? So it's 4 hours back here. So I think it's really like a 2-hour time difference. Yeah, give me San Jose State.
I'm going San Jose State as well.
Okay. Next up, we got the Game Above Sports Bowl. Pittsburgh versus Toledo. Pittsburgh, 8.5 points favorite. Kind of fell off at the end of the year. Had a good season going on. Taylor.
I just don't know. Toledo, I'm going to pick Pitt, but I wouldn't be shocked if Toledo just beat them because Pitt's been pretty bad this year. since they fell off.
Max.
Give me Pitt.
I'm gonna take Pitt too. I don't know much about either of these teams. So anything.
I know Pitt
Nothing
beat
would surprise
Clemson,
me.
right? Pitt beat Clemson, correct?
They did.
Yeah.
Here we go. We got a little bit of a better match right here. The Rate Bowl. That is RATE Bowl.
I was about to say, be careful how you say that one, buddy.
The Rates Bowl. Rutgers versus Kansas State. A little bit better game right there. And let's see. Kansas State is favored. I'm trying to look for it on here to see what they're favored by. I can't find it. Taylor, go ahead.
K-State.
Max?
K-State.
I'm going to take. Give me Kansas State as well. Avery Johnson's good. We'll pick two more and we'll pick the rest the next time because I think that's like 15 or 16.
You're at 13 right now.
Okay, so we'll do three more then.
Yeah, I was about to say, probably try to get to 18.
Okay, 68 Ventures Bowl. You got the Arkansas State Red Wolves, and the Bowling Green Falcons.
Arkansas State, baby.
Bowling Green is favored by 7.5. Give me Bowling Green.
Yeah, me too. I didn't know it was that much. Give me Bowling Green.
Bowling Green.
All right, here's a cool one. The Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Oklahoma versus Navy. Oklahoma's favored by 7.5. Navy's the underdog. Give me Oklahoma.
So Jackson Arnold will not be in this.
Don't care. Give me Oklahoma.
He's actually going to Mississippi State.
They had such a good year this year.
His old offensive coordinator's there.
Who you got?
Oklahoma.
Max.
Oklahoma.
All
right. Next up, the Birmingham Bowl. So the owner.
This is a fucking good game.
The owners
not
of
in this game this year.
No, but this is this is Vandy, Georgia Tech. This is pretty fucking good.
The owner of Alabama is coming down to just make one more claim of Alabama. Vandy is coming to claim the state for one last time. Vandy versus Georgia Tech. This is a really, really fun game. I love this matchup. They did a good job with these two teams. Georgia Tech is the favorite right now, but it's 2.5. It's pretty much even on the picks. Actually, the picks are going more towards Georgia Tech right now, but the money line is, it's right there. I'm gonna go Vandy. You can't beat Vandy in their home state of Alabama. So
that's a good point. That's a good point. I'm gonna go Georgia Tech. I think they're playing their toughest team they've played in the state of Alabama.
Sure.
Georgia Tech.
Y'all are wrong. You can't beat Vandy in Alabama. It's impossible. I won't pick it until I see it happen because it's never happened before.
Yeah, if you just do two more, that'll put us at 18.
Cool. Now we're trying to start to get to the good games. AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Texas Tech versus Arkansas. Arkansas is the 2.5-point favorite against Texas Tech. I'm gonna go with Arkansas. SEC bias here. Only reason.
Arkansas. Yeah, Arkansas. I'm not picking a Big 12 team to beat an SEC team.
We'll do one more after this one, Taylor. So we'll kind of, because we're also gonna have to pick the winners of the playoffs and all of that too for those next ones after.
Yeah. So
we'll do these next two and we'll be done.
Okay.
Syracuse versus Washington State. Syracuse is 4.5-point favorites. Washington State was sneaky this year. They were kind of going along for a little bit at the end right there. But I'm gonna take Syracuse. Kyle McCord, most passing yards in the country. They'll let him throw it around some. It'll be a fun game with these two teams. Max?
Syracuse.
Yeah, Syracuse.
All right, last one. The SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. Texas A&M versus USC. A&M is a 3.5-point favorite over USC. We'll go to you first, Taylor.
Texas A&M. I don't know. I'm picking most SEC schools in these just because I think they're that much better than a lot of these conferences.
A&M.
also am going with A&M. Same here. I just believe SEC has had such a battle-tested year for a lot of these teams, so I think they'll have the favorite. It could be to their detriment as well, though. But I think with all this time off, they'll go and play a USC team. They'll be able to lock it up. Those will be the only bowl game picks. Taylor, write down that we ended at the A&M game.
Yeah, I have them all written down. So,
Cool. And then
uh,
we're gonna do a little quick spill about college basketball for last week. Obviously, we made our picks last podcast about the ACC versus SEC challenge, and SEC dominated. I mean, 14-2 versus the ACC is a great record. The only two teams that lost were,
they played the toughest games,
yeah, it was
and they were both on the road.
Auburn and Kentucky, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Clemson might be the second. I don't know if Clemson's second best, but you get the point.
Mm-hmm.
Road game. No, yeah, the SEC might get 12 teams in. Just real. We did pick those, and Alex went 13-3. I went 12-4. Max went 11-5. We probably hurt ourselves because we just thought we were taking too many SEC teams, but
I changed some of my picks because of it. I was like, man, I'm picking too many SEC teams.
the two teams in the media that were picked to finish 15th and 16th in the SEC were Oklahoma and Vandy, and they're 15-1 right now, and they've both won all their power conference games. And Oklahoma won Battle for Atlantis. Alabama beat Shadow North Carolina. I don't know how good North Carolina is. Auburn has two, so I'm not just saying that because y'all did it. But
they don't look that good based off eye test for me.
They also then they went and almost lost to Georgia Tech at home last Saturday too. So
Auburn and Duke. I will say I know Taylor was there. One thing before I let Taylor take over for it, Taylor was kind of saying that Cooper Flagg did not impress him. I would like to beg to differ. He was very impressive to me.
When you just get touched, it's a foul. I mean, I say this: his 3-point shooting is not what they said it was.
He's got to get settled in. He's 18 years old.
Did y'all watch the game at all?
Yes. Yeah, we were at Craft House downtown watching it.
I mean, did you think that the calls were fair? Even. Did you think that Auburn was getting to be as physical as Duke was?
I don't think it was that uneven. Obviously, I think there's probably a little bit of a home court there, but I didn't think it was anything outrageous.
Well, look, I'm not. Listen, listen. There's a reason they don't ever lose there, and the SEC team hasn't won there since 1981, and it was Vanderbilt. But I didn't go away with that worrying about Auburn at all. So
no, I think y'all are the better team.
No, yeah, I think if we played on a neutral court, we would win, and if we played at Auburn, we would win comfortably.
I agree.
But I was actually more impressed with what's the dude that came from Iowa State? I can't remember his name, but he's the one that hit that three to put them up 5 at the shot clock. You know what I'm talking about? Like, he impressed me more, and Isaiah Evans looked good. I mean, I'm being a little bit of a hater when I say Cooper Fly. I get it. He's going to be a top 3 pick. Just I don't know. I do when he does need to develop a 3-point shot. If he's going to play basically like the 3. But they did a good. Their size bothered us a little bit while they blocked the punt.
Let me say that obviously SEC is looking very impressive right now. Obviously, Tennessee's number 1. They look really good. But Florida is also really good.
I need to see Florida play somebody, but they do look really fucking good.
Yeah. Same thing with State. Mississippi State's putting up some points.
I told y'all they can shoot now.
Yeah, they're putting up some points.
Like I said, Ole Misses look good. They went to the brink with Purdue. There's this college basketball. We'll talk about it with our sneaks and locks, but there's some good college basketball games this weekend. I think Alabama and Creighton play. Auburn plays Ohio State, but UConn and Gonzaga play. How about that? We could talk about this later, but UConn's been kind of a disappointment. But yeah, the SEC's just kind of been. It's the top conference, I think.
Mm-hmm. Missouri just got a big win at
over Kansas.
Kansas.
They're
Missouri.
picked to be like 13th or 14th.
What's their record right now? They're
They're 7 and 8
8-1.
1. They're
8-1.
this league's gonna be a gauntlet, man. I mean, good luck winning on the road.
Yep.
Auburn has like I don't know if Auburn has like 22 quad one opportunities this year, like 18 of them are SEC games. It's pretty fucking crazy.
It'll be close to what I worry about Alabama. I'm not worried as much y'all. I worry about our team. We got to settle in. We can't have all these turnovers. We're still turning it over a lot. I will say against North Carolina, we did look better at it. That could just because North Carolina's not that good of a team. But I mean, that was away. So I mean, hey.
Well, Aiden's the way Aiden's playing is pretty
He
big
played
for
really
y'all
good.
since Reitzel's going to be out.
And once we get
And
Youngblood,
y'all are still getting Youngblood back. He might come back Saturday, more likely probably the game after.
Yeah.
But yeah, Auburn does have one issue. It's point guard, not guards, but point guard. Just because like they're having to waste Denver at point guard, and he's just not that as good as a point guard. But we like Pagese is awful, but they had played Ja'Kai Howard. That's the dude that got into a fight on the plane, the freshman, more against Richmond because we're up 98-50. We won 98-54. So I think he might actually be getting. He's a 3-2 kind of, but he can play the two. So I think he might be getting more of Pagese minutes. So no, yeah, I mean, you don't go 40-0 in basketball, but if you just want to be done with it.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into our locks and our sneaks. My first lock of
Can I say real quick? Because Max, did you see that? What happened in the game? So the Cowboys and Jamar Chase just scored a touchdown. But did you see how it happened? So the Bengals had to punt and it got blocked, but it like dribbled around and a Cowboys player touched it and the Bengals guy recovered it. So like the Cowboys blocked the punt, but it rolled forwards and it hit a Cowboys player. So a Bengals guy recovered it past first down marker. And then Jamar Chase just caught a 40-yard touchdown.
I think this means I'm in the playoffs with the fantasy league. Oh man, let me check real quick.
Jamar Chase just caught like a 40-yard touchdown pass.
So you got your Joe Burrow touchdown, but you needed it to Higgins.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the Cowboys will go and tie it up.
Probably fucking not.
Yeah, most likely not.
Anyways, I'm sorry for interrupting you on lock sneaks.
Oh, you're good. My lock of this week is the Army Navy game. Both teams are good, so this should be a good game. But my lock is Bryson Daly over 1.5 rushing touchdowns. He is a touchdown machine. He looked great against Tulane. Yeah, that's my lock. Bryson Daly over 1.5 rushing touchdowns. Max, what's yours?
I like little college basketball. We got Rutgers -1.5 versus Penn State. Rutgers has looked decent at times this year. I don't know anything about Penn State, so I'm just gonna go off what I've seen by Rutgers.
The Big Ten teams are absolutely destroying each other. The road teams, like so far, the road teams getting destroyed in these games. Did we do sneaks or are we doing locks right now?
I started off with lock. Sorry, we'll do a sneaks.
My lock is I flipped them around, but it doesn't matter. My lock is gonna be Illinois to cover the 6.5. This is tomorrow night against Wisconsin. This is kind of what I'm talking about with the Big Ten. The road teams have not been faring well. In fact, there's been some pretty big upsets. Like last week, Penn State like beat the shit out of Purdue at home. They were up 30 at one point. So yeah. And then I'll just go real quickly.
Yeah,
my sneak is going to be Tennessee to cover 16.5. I mean, people might look at that and be scared. That's a big line. Now Tennessee's really good and Miami's really bad. So I don't think that one will be close.
Max, what's your sneak?
College basketball, I got 7 minutes plus 5.5 at Tulane.
Okay.
All right, and then my sneak is Arkansas money line versus Michigan tomorrow. Arkansas's lost 2 games. Michigan's only lost 1, but I will say Arkansas's 2 losses are against Illinois and then they're against Baylor. So two really good teams. This is the Jimmy V Classic, so we'll be up in New York, I believe,
Tennessee,
right?
Miami is also a part of that.
Cool. I think Arkansas will pull off a big win. I think they need it. They've had the cup schedule. I think it'll finally fall in their favor for tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I will say, like, Michigan has kind of impressed me. Trey Donaldson's looked pretty good for Michigan. Good minutes now. Shout out Trey. I don't hate you like I hate Aiden, but
Isn't that where old Alabama dude went to?
Michigan, no. But guess who their center is? Guess where he played?
Auburn.
Yale. No,
Yale?
no,
We do
Yale.
have
Oh.
we
Yeah,
do have a guy from Alabama plays on Michigan though.
It's the white guy,
Yeah.
right?
Guy. Yeah.
the white guy, and then the Yale center went to Michigan too.
Well, all right. We kind of gave you all the rundown of all the college football stuff. We hope y'all use some of these bets.
Real quick. Army Navy. Just because it's Army Navy. Who you got?
Army.
Me too. Army to cover.
Army cover. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you're good. I
All right.
just
Well,
felt un-American not doing that game.
give me the over.
Give me the over.
Honestly, actually give me the over for that game.
Yeah.
Both offenses are actually decent. But
Yep.
This has been the Weekends Over podcast. We hope y'all enjoyed it. Appreciate y'all. We'll be back Thursday for our NFL picks. But see y'all later.